So today I've been out in the woods cutting and hauling firewood so that I can split it later on for our wood stove and to heat our house with. So far you can see I've got quite a pile going here this winter, and I have this load that I just brought up to the house. I'm about to head out and get more. So I do have a nice little bonfire going here. Wasn't easy to make considering everything is just snow and water. But once I got it to go, it took off really well. And then this is my last tree that I have to haul. I've made like 5 trips so far and gotten all the other trees. I'm hoping this whole tree fits in the back of the gator so I can just have this be my last trip out here. But before I start loading that up, I'm going to take a look inside these wood duck houses and see if I have any owls nesting in there. I've got a couple others I'll check on too. And when I say nesting, it's wintertime. I totally mean sleeping for the day. So I'm going to take a quick look in there, and if I see anything, I'll let you guys know. This one's up super high, so I had to stand on the gator. Doing a little early shed hunting. Every year I come out, walk all over the place, follow the fields, follow the deer trails through the woods, spend a hell of a lot of time walking, looking for antlers that fell off the deer. And I know it's a little early right now, I'll definitely be out again, but it just seems like I don't find that many sheds ever. But the purpose for coming over here right now is I have another duck house that I want to check for an owl. And then I'm going to get back to loading that wood and heading up to the house. This one, I can just loosen that nail up and open. Not an owl, but there's a mouse nest. Oh, there's a little mouse. Definitely not what I wanted, but at least something's using it. I'm gonna guess the ice isn't safe, considering there's like 8 inches of water on top of it. Let's look in this one here by the pond. Nope, nothing. I got another one right around the corner here. This one's in very bad shape. It's probably 10 years old. Nothing. Definitely needs replaced. Something's been chewing on it, probably squirrels. So a few years ago, I was digging some dirt out of this dirt mound here, and I scraped up what I assume was a bumblebee colony that was under the ground. There was probably 100 or so that just suddenly started stirring like crazy. And since they're a threatened resource, a threatened pollinator, I felt terrible. So I built them this little home. And inside it, I stuffed a whole bunch of like sawdust and wood chips and insulation like the kind of insulation you would put in your walls, the rolled insulation, because many years ago I was ripping apart a wall and the bumblebees were just incredible inside that insulation. They loved it and they had a huge nest inside of it. So that made me think they like the rolled insulation. And then I drilled some small little holes in it so that they could come and go, and it has overhang to help keep it dry and from flooding. You can see something, probably a mouse, but I don't know, something's been chewing on it, trying to get in through those holes. Whether or not it's been successful, I have no idea. But my hope is that these bumblebees are now surviving and thriving thanks to their well-insulated little cabin that sits here on the pond. I got the wood all loaded up, and I fixed the fire, threw some extra stuff on it to get it going. When I did that, big old chunk of coal jumped down into my pocket here and actually burnt through all of the layers of my coat. I didn't even realize that I was getting the heck burnt out of me until a little flame bumped up and grabbed my chin. So, yeah, the dangers of being out in the woods, having a bonfire. I've got a trail cam right there, pointing out towards the field because the deer like to follow this trail that I made, and I've got a salt block luring them in. So I'm gonna grab that SD card real quick, and I have another trail cam over here that doesn't seem to capture anything, so I'm gonna move it. Here's a couple of my beehives that I have like out in the middle of nowhere. And look, little bee came out because it's warm enough to go to the bathroom. That's the only reason this time of year that the bees would come out of the hive, is to go to the bathroom, because they won't do that inside their hive. Oh, it's actually flying around now. Huh. Let's take a peek in here if I can. Oh yeah, they are very much alive. Look at that one waving its stinger up in the air at me, saying, "Get the heck out." So that's what I'm gonna do before I get stung. Oh, that little flying around bee just landed right there. Very nice. Very nice. Back away, Matt. I just found a hammer. I'm like out in the middle of the woods. And there's a hammer that's not so old that it's rotten. It's definitely a usable, pretty heavy hammer. Luckily, I'm carrying a backpack on me, so I'm gonna keep it. Look at all these deer tracks. This is just insane that there's so many tracks out here. I'm right at the corner of a field edge here, and it's pretty evident that this is a point where the deer come together at, and probably a pretty good runaway spot to look for deer sheds later on this year. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled because some deer lose them early, but man, there's a ton of tracks. A ton of bedding spot too. I'm gonna walk up here and take a look at this hunting blind. This is not my hunting blind. All of my blinds are elevated up in the air. But I can see this from 2 of my hunting blinds. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of my tree stands. So let's walk around and go inside and take a look. Well, the door is not at all where I thought it would be. Is it? That's not a door. Where the heck is the door? How do I get into this thing? Do they just have it screwed shut? That doesn't open. What the heck? Oh, geez, oh, Pete, I walked right past it. There's hinges right here. And it's just locked up here like that. Dang. Okay. Let's turn on, oh, I can't turn on the light. So, nail turns, window folds down like that. Okay, they have a padded ledge here. Clever. And then that one would just pop out. I'm not going to do it. So there's no window on this wall at all once you close the door. And what do they have here? Spray paint. They just left their can of spray paint out here in an empty propane can. Okay, what's this? It's just like, I don't know what you would use it for. I would hope they're not sitting on that little thing. And the ceiling's short enough you wouldn't need to stand on it. This is all just scrap wood practically, it looks like. But it's solid. Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to close it up and get out of here. Here is a second blind that is not mine. And I'm really curious to see what's inside. You can see a little animal trail, raccoon or possum most likely, going right up to it. And actually, if I look, there's tracks right here that look very raccoony. So, tree branch fell on it, but didn't do any damage. A little bit there on the roof. I'm gonna take a look inside. Oh, whatever it is, it's just going underneath right here. It's not actually getting in, it doesn't look like. Okay, pretty much the exact same setup. Folds down, nice and padded. There's random little bench thing again. Yep, they got a mouse nest right there. I don't know why they spray painted the inside. That's weird, but whatever. Not my thing. I'm gonna close it up and get back out. I got a lot more of the woods to check out. There is one of my tree stands. It's actually one I threw up after deer season. It's an area that several deer kind of funnel through right here because I have a nice trail that I maintain through here, through all this thick stuff that they love. The deer also have a pretty heavily used trail that comes right through the woods here. And then it comes out to a food plot that I have. I planted it just this last year. It's all clover and I expect it to explode this year. It was really good last season. I am going to guess that during the spring it's just going to blow up with clover. And you can see over there a last minute throw together hunting blind. I actually got my 10 point out of that one this year as he was walking the harvested corn edge. I'll walk down this way a little farther and show you another blind that I have. As I'm heading that way, look at all the tracks through this snow. They come and go all over the place through here. Some of these tracks are raccoon, but most of them are deer. And then as I get up this way, they have a pretty solid trail that goes into this thick stuff there. And look at the rubs on the trees. They just love this area during the rut and pretty much all year long. You can just see they follow these trails that I make through here because it's way easier to access these trails than to walk through some of this thick stuff that's growing out here. Right here is another one of my blinds. It overlooks some really thick growth right here. In the spring, summer, and fall, these weeds grow right up nice. And I can overlook and see out into there quite a ways. Farther than I could shoot with a rifle, but plenty good enough shot with a shotgun. So yeah, that's tucked away nicely, quite a ways off the road. Right in the middle of all this brush. This hunting blind that I built was actually the first one that I put up last year. It's also the tallest one, so I call it the crow's nest. And it overlooks this kind of open area here in the middle of the woods that I have planted clover in. Everyone told me that I wouldn't get clover to grow in the woods. It's too shaded. All of the YouTube videos said it's too shaded, and it's growing really, really well. So you just don't know till you try, but look down here. All of this on the ground, all of that on the ground. There's a bunch more over this way. The deer are bedding like crazy right here. I'm gonna guess it's because they have a pretty good view in all the directions. And I have a mock scrape hanging right there. So I'm gonna put that trail cam up overlooking all of this. I got the trail cam up on that tree there. It's flashing the countdown, and I'm gonna get out of here so I'm not on the video. I was just following this trail back up to the house, and there's something very red right there. I'm gonna guess it's a mylar balloon, which is sad that they float out to the woods like this and get snagged up in trees and just pretty much their litter. People let balloons go and they drift away and they don't even stop to think where they wind up. Yep, that looks like it is definitely a mylar balloon. Let me see if I can get through all this tangled mess here and get it. What's going to be my best route, because half of this has thorns on it. You can probably hear it ripping at my clothes, all the thorns. Ugh. Dang. What do we got here? And I love you, mylar balloon, out littering my woods. Seems like I get a few balloons every year. So keep that in mind next time you release balloons. Somebody's picking them up. Hopefully. I just got thinking. I went in 2 blinds that were not mine, but I never went in one of mine to show you guys what they look like inside. So guess what? That's what we're gonna do right now. I got some cheap carpet down to keep it quiet. Mice have eaten my seat some, so I have a new seat up at the house waiting to go in. Little heater in case it gets cold. My windows are different from theirs. I have one lock on them. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I gotta unlock it first though, huh? The window, the whole thing pops out, lifts up. It's clearly meant to do two-handed. I have handles. And then the same little lever latches right there to keep it in place. So that's how my windows work. A little more complicated, takes a little more lumber, but this is definitely more solid than what theirs was. I have windows on every side. Even the door side has a little window. Let's see, it is 39 degrees outside, 43 in here. I never set the time. Door is on a hinge with a handle. And then I have a lock that works like that, so the door is locked shut. I have a ledge with extra propane, some hooks, hanging jackets or whatever if it's warm out. You can hang bow or crossbow. So yeah, that's what mine looked like inside. And all of them are a little bit different, but same basic idea with them.